Hello everyone. In this short video, I will be walking you all through all the steps involved in creating a class file and instantiating it into your model. So over here, we have a very simple model which has a traffic block which generates packet periodically and an expression list which is used to add certain attributes to the packet and a text display to display the packet. So in the traffic block, I have used the traffic period seconds parameter to link it with the value 1. And I have used the data size and the packet priority to set up the certain fields, the priority and data size. So using this approach, I can, when I run the simulation, I can see that the packets getting generated have the two additional fields that are data size and priority added to each of the packet. So now let us say I want to use this traffic generation sequences in another model. So instead of creating this sequence every time again and again, we could consider putting them as a class block, as a class file, and instantiating it in various other blocks or various other models where we need it. So that way we can reuse our one-time implementation again and again. So to do that, you have two approaches. One is you can select the blocks that you want to convert into class. Then you can go to graph and click on create hierarchy. So within this hierarchical block, you can click on open block. You can see that the traffic, the expression list is there and it automatically added a port which connects to the outside. There is also another way. You can drag and drop a hierarchical block and then you can, let us say, let me just copy the components over, Control C, and within the hierarchical block, I can do Control V. And then you can see now we need to add a port to make it come outside. So I will add a port here and again connect the ports. Now we can convert this block into a class file. So for that, what we could do is we need to right click on the block and click on convert to class. But before you do that, you need to make sure that all the wire connections are removed from the block that we want to convert to class. Otherwise, we will get an error message. So you can click on dismiss and you can remove this wire connection. Also, you need to make sure all the parameters that are used by the components within the hierarchical block are present as a parameter to the block itself. So for example, if I double click on the composite actor or the hierarchical block, I can only see traffic period seconds. The data priority, the data size and the packet priority parameters are missing. So you need to make sure it is also added to this window, to this hierarchical block. So you can copy these, Control C and Control plus V. Okay. Now the parameters are all added to the block. Now you can do right click and convert to class. Now you can see a blue halo symbol coming up. Now you can do right click and open block. Now what you could do is you could do a file and then you can do a save as. So now you can go into a specific, you can create certain folders or you can go to a separate directory and keep the class files there. Now I will go into another folder and create a new file name. So this will be the class file name. So let me give it tg.xml, traffic generator. So I also need to click on save submodel only parameter here. This is a very important step. And then we got to click on save. Now you can delete this entity that we already have in the model and replace it with the class file. So you have to click on instantiate class, click on browse window, go to the folder location where the class is saved. And let me find the class file. Okay. Okay. Now let me try to run the simulation, and you can see we get the same simulation results. Now, when we double click on the block, we can see the same parameters there. But if you want, you can either delete these parameters from the top level if you don't want it. Otherwise, if you want it present at the top level, you need to make sure that you link these parameters to the block level parameter. So you need to put it here. You need to add it to all the parameters. Otherwise, you won't be able to link it properly. So you click on commit, and now you can save the model. Now, let us say we want to make some changes to the class file. So in that case, you can just go open block and make changes here. So one change that we could do is we need to add digital simulator here. So the digital simulator is added to the top level. And for all the class files as well, we need to add a digital simulator inside. So you can go and drag and drop a digital simulator here. So for the data simulators within a class file, you don't necessarily have to update the stop time. You can keep it as it is because we only the top level data simulator needs to be updated with the runtime details all the same time. Now, once you make the necessary changes in the class file, you can click on the save button. Now you can close this, and if you reopen it again, it will be there. Now let us close this file. Now we can also do one thing. Let us look at the location where it is placed. It is in my remote location, my local path. So it is in projects, training material, training models, and class files. So now that our demo model uses the class file, if you want to share the model to another user, you should also share the class file. The tg.xml should be shared along with the demo model.xml. So, but the other user, the next user, they should also place the class file in the same location for the demo model to be opened up. So to make it easier, we can define a relative path. So we can define a relative path so that you can place that class file in that path. So for example, what we could do is I will define this from the path from here. So path from this directory as a relative path. So what I will do is I will copy this path, the path to the relative folder. I will go to VSAR folder where the Visual Sim tool is installed. We need to find visualsim.bat or sh file. You need to edit it with Notepad or in a text editor. Now, within this, you need to find this variable, VS model library. You need to also make sure this is linked to the class path as well. So here you can add the path. So my class files that are used by the model, it is relative to this path. So for me, it is this path, but for another user, it will be different path. So they just need to set up this path and save the file. Save the file. Now I can open the model again. And open the demo model. Now let us instantiate another class instance. So let me instantiate a class. Let me go to the same location. Class file is being resolved. So you can see now it is not an absolute path. Now you can see this one, if I give the mouse pointer on top of it, it points to that relative location. but this one, it uses the absolute location. So if we add the relative path, then the model will be able to recognize those paths and only use the relative location. So this way, this model can be saved. So I can just remove this and use this one in the model. Let me just send it PG. I mean, you can give any name. I can just give it traffic one, right? Now, you need to link it to the top level parameters if we need them at the top level. Otherwise, we can just remove it. You can see it all works the same. So now, let us say we want to debug certain flow that is happening within the class file. So then you need to do open instance. So open block is for updating the class file. Open instance is for debugging. So if you do an open instance, you can see the red hello symbol over there. So, and we can do a right click on the port, or maybe we can do a right click on the expression list to listen to block. And then I can run the simulation. We can see the packet comes in at time 10 seconds. This was the incoming packet coming in, and we added the priority, we added the data size, and this is what we send out on the output port. So we can see the data size is added, the priority is also added to the data structure, and it is going on. So if you want to debug, then we will have to do it on the instance. So now that we have created a class file, you can add the class files to the user library over here. This will make it easy for the user to instantiate it in a demo model that they want. So to do this, we have to right click on the user library. You have to click on open for editing. And now you can click on graph, instantiate class, go to the folder location. Now you can click on the save. And now you need to now open a new window. So you can either close this one and reopen the model. You can see the TG is there. So you have to create a class file in order to add it to the user library. And once you have the class file, you can add it to any model. So you can open a new model. You can go to the user library, add it to the model window. Thank you all for watching the short video. Please let us know if you have any questions or doubts. Thank you.